Welcome to TalkBGKY, the official podcast of the City of Bowling Green. I'm Sergeant Brad Hogue, and I'm joined here today with...
Hi, I'm Lori Gray. I'm the HR manager with the City of Bowling Green.
And we're here today to talk about police and dispatch recruiting. Lori and I work together in recruiting. We've been up and down the roads in multiple states now, looking for new applicants for the City of Bowling Green. And we'd just like to talk a little bit about that and the process that goes in to being a police officer or dispatcher.
The first step in the process for applying for any position with the City of Bowling Green, but we're going to talk about police officers and dispatchers today, is the application process is online. It's through our joinbgky.org. You can do /police to take you directly to our police page. There are a lot of supplemental documents that have to be turned in and completed for police officer and dispatcher positions, so pay attention to detail. Once that information is submitted online, then we will send you an email about our testing opportunities for our POPs testing and our suitability testing. Other steps that follow after that is completed, then it will go on over to the police department for their initial review.
A lot of things go into that initial start, like with the POPs test and suitability screening. POPs test is the state-required physical fitness test. It's called the Peace Officer Professional Standards, and a little bit of work has to go into that. You obviously have to do the bench press, you have to do sit-ups, you have to do a 300-meter sprint, push-ups, and then you also have to finish out with a 1.5-mile run. Each element of that is graded. You have to at least meet the 9-point threshold. You can max out the grading at 11 points on each exercise, but you have to have 50 points total to pass. In Bowling Green, we're in a very blessed situation in that if you apply to be a Bowling Green police officer, we're going to give you a free gym membership at Bowling Green Parks and Recreation so you can start preparing for that. There's people there that are well-versed in coaching you up and training techniques that can help the applicant prepare and come out and be successful for that POPs test. Now, the suitability screener, that always stresses some people out because they hear the term, well, we used to call it a test, but would you agree that's not probably the best description of it?
It gives us a score of whether or not you would be suitable based on your answers to some questions to be a police officer or a dispatcher. It's not something you study for. It's a series of 4 tests. One is timed. It takes a couple hours, so whatever day that you sign up for that, make sure that you allow yourself a couple of hours to complete that test. Nothing to stress about. It's just something that is a tool in the process for becoming a police officer or a dispatcher.
Yeah, and there was a time where we did have a written test, and people would stress out over it because you'd come in, there'd be a lot of situational type questions, maybe some math or science element. That's not how it is today. You know, today's just you come out, come prepared with your ID, the necessary paperwork, be prepared for the POPs test if you're a police officer candidate. But otherwise, you just come out and you answer the questions as they come, and it's not really graded. It just lets us know how suitable you'd be for a position. Now, once, let's say, the packet gets reviewed by the police department, what's the next stages in the process?
So the next stages in the process, once it's reviewed by the police department initially, they make the decision on whether or not to move forward in the process. If you are moved forward in the process, then there are a series of things that happen. You will initially be scheduled for a psychological exam, a polygraph exam, and also given information on getting your fingerprinting completed. And then also you'll be assigned to a background investigator, and then that background investigator will be reaching out to you to go over your complete packet and get to know you a little bit better in the process. I think the biggest takeaway, if you get nothing else out of our information today, is that from the beginning, when you start submitting information to the HR department, your interview begins. So make sure that you are very attentive to the information that you're sending in, that you're thorough, that you're following up from phone calls and messages that may come from the police department or from the HR department, whether it be before you even do any testing, all the way up until the background investigator calling you, asking you questions. So be very aware that interview process starts in the very beginning.
Absolutely. You better answer Lori's emails.
Yes.
That's the big thing.
Always.
Because she's going to be on it. She's going to let you know from the beginning. She's going to give you a timeline. She's going to let you know what you need. She's going to be very engaged with you. And it's best not to ghost her because we're keeping up with all that good stuff. On my end, I'm going to be engaged with you. I'm going to be trying to sign you up for ride-alongs. I'm going to be trying to talk to you about the police department, trying to keep you kept up on the process. I might be your background investigator. It's very, very, very important for you to be diligent in your communication with us. Obviously, mistakes happen, life happens. Sometimes people have been gone because they're on vacations or they've had life events happen. That happens to everybody. But as soon as you see that we're trying to get in touch with you, reach back out and explain that. So going back to the hiring process, so at the end of it, what happens? After you complete the background investigation.
After you've completed everything and the background investigator is complete, then your packet gets sent back to administration, and they decide whether to move forward with you for an oral interview. During that process, if you proceed through, then you will be scheduled for an interview, a written exercise, a scenario, and then also essential skills. That is an obstacle course that is done in one of our facilities.
It's the most fun.
From that point, you will either be offered a job or not. That's kind of the full process. And you don't have to worry about remembering all this, because if you apply with us, I will send you an email that has every step. The dates are subject to change, but we try to keep a pretty good schedule. Our testing as far as POPs and suitability is once a month. So we want everyone to have the opportunity. If they can't make it one month, then maybe they can make it the next month.
And it sounds like a whole lot. Like when you sit down and you tell somebody this is the process, it sounds like it's forever. But for the applicant, it's only really like 4 or 5 days outside of gathering information. But
Right.
the interview, that portion, like the total, that's only about an hour and a half. Your polygraphs, an hour and a half. Psych view, hour and a half. You know, it's not as long as it sounds. You know, the big thing is just being diligent in your paperwork, getting your things turned in a timely manner, and getting the process started.
I think people need to understand when they're applying for a police officer or a dispatcher position is that this is a career. This is not a job, I think, that you just happen into, or you may happen into it, but it's something that, needs to take some thought, be very educated on what it is. I know Sergeant Hogue mentioned the ride-along. We want you to make sure it's what you want. We want to work together. We want to make sure that we're hiring the right candidate. We want to make sure it's a good fit for you as well.
Absolutely. Police work's not for everybody. Everybody can serve in some way. Everybody can make a difference in some way. But police work, it takes somebody with a different mindset to go out and do that. Because you're going into every type of circumstance you imagine. There's not a situation that we're not going to respond to. There's not a situation that we're not going to go and try to resolve in a peaceful manner. And some of that might involve going into a dangerous situation. So you have to be mentally prepared. You have to understand of what you might be facing, what you're enduring. At the same time, you got to be able to have empathy for other people. Because you're oftentimes going and you're dealing with somebody in the worst moment of their life, and they're expecting you to help them. So you have to kind of balance, taking action and then being there to take care of other people also. What type of things do we have that would help somebody achieve that balance?
It's not just about the position, it's about the organization as well. The City of Bowling Green is an excellent employer. I feel we're very employee focused. We have an excellent benefits package that includes an on-site health and wellness center, a very robust medical, dental, vision, complete medical plan. We have a lot of opportunities for growth within the department as well as you move through. The city looks out for its employees. There is EAP services, which is an employee assistance program for counseling type services. Also, we have our own peer support program that is essential for our public safety departments. Sergeant Hogue mentioned during the process you have free fitness center membership, but we also include that when you're an employee as well. All of our departments have gyms, pretty much. You'll have that opportunity as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of great opportunity for you to personally develop, like these wellness programs. The way the city looks out for you, you can grow, you can develop health-wise, you can develop as a person. Within the police department, it's pretty much unlimited on how you can develop. Over 20 different specializations that you can go into, all kinds of opportunities for additional training, additional assignments that you can go into. The team atmosphere is one of the best aspects of it, in my opinion. Because you're going to calls with people, you're working investigations with people, and they're your lifeline. And you get to the point where you know where the other person's function, how they function, you're solving problems together. And I'll say that's not just, in my role, that's not just within the police department. Like Lori, her and I, we've been working together for 2 years now, pretty closely, going and traveling and doing the hiring process and recruiting and everything. And I'll say it and I'll keep saying it, she's one of the best beat partners I've ever had. We're not kicking down doors at 3 o'clock in the morning or going and doing traffic stops or responding to burglary alarms. But, we are working closely together, and she's one of the best beat partners I've had. And obviously she works in a different division within the city. So a lot of opportunities there, general positivity, not just within the police department, but within the city.
And to give you a little information, if you're not familiar with Bowling Green, we are the third largest city in the state. We're the fastest growing city in the state. There's a lot of opportunity here. We also have a very close proximity to larger cities if you're wanting some of that big city vibe from time to time, but not actually live in the big city. So it's a great place to live. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to, as far as the city of Bowling Green, is a great place to start your career, have a lifelong opportunities and friendships as well. I feel like the camaraderie here at the city between departments, between fellow workers is top notch. You don't see that a lot of places, but we're all here for a common goal to serve the people here of the city of Bowling Green.
Yeah, all kinds of good things. Everything you just mentioned. But whenever I think about it, I'm from Bowling Green. I've been a Bowling Green police officer my whole career. I applied at other places beforehand. I've worked with other agencies. When you look, not to look down on anybody else, but the gap is so wide between us and other places. I don't understand why anybody would want to work anywhere except Bowling Green. You look at police culture in the country, you look at things that are happening in other communities. Bowling Green's rapidly growing. We're not perfect. We have problems in our community, but guess what? There's problems. There's a plan to address those. Other places don't have those. So we're blessed in that aspect. You look at our police department, we have progressive leadership. We know that our leadership cares about us. We know we have a team environment. We're actively growing when other departments are just trying to keep their head above water. We're talking about expanding numbers. We're expanding divisions. We're expanding ways that we can serve the community. We don't consider ourselves separate from the community. It's not a us versus them. It's us total as a community, which is cool. Everybody serves a different way. We're just a piece of the puzzle. So whenever I think and I look at the big picture, why wouldn't somebody want to come to Bowling Green? We have high expectations. Our guys, they go out and work. They answer a lot of calls. They're expected to do good work. But if you put on this uniform and you get that badge, that's a responsibility that goes with it. I just couldn't imagine wanting to go do something else, something different. You have an opportunity to make a positive impact every day, and in this community, you're supported to do that.
And you mentioned community a few times there. We do have a wonderful community that supports our police department. I know a lot of communities don't have that, and that is something that we see time after time, that our community supports our law enforcement and our public safety department.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of the reason for that is we support them.
Absolutely.
We're all in it together. To make Bowling Green what it is, it's not, like I said a moment ago, it's not us versus them. It's not the city and the community. It's not the police department and the community. It's all of us that make this go. Our schools, we work in the schools a lot. They're amazing. What they're doing for young people, what they're doing to try to help the community, all these nonprofit organizations that we have here. There's a lot of good stuff going on, and I couldn't imagine why somebody'd want to live anywhere else or work anywhere else than Bowling Green. Lori and I, we've been through some stuff, right? We have been all over the place. Have we not? We've gotten lost. I don't know how many places we have gotten. We've had adventures. I don't know where else. We've had cadet twos looking like they're about to not make it in the backseat of a car coming back. We've gotten out. Yeah, congratulations, guys. That's what that extra money's for. We have gotten out with disturbances. We've saved kids' basketballs. What do you think is the wildest thing that we've had happen?
It might have been rolling through downtown Louisville.
That was fun. Yes, I actually forgot about that.
That was probably the scariest.
Exactly. Boarded up windows, places abandoned, people laid out everywhere. Well, here comes that BGPD recruiting car just rolling through. Lori and I are just hey, what's up? What do y'all think about the Bowling Green Police Department? Just tossing out flyers everywhere, walking through these abandoned schools.
Right, the community college there. We were just kind of wondering.
It was a horror movie.
We ended up in a basement somewhere, and we found people.
Exactly.
Not sure if they were supposed to be there, but
yeah, they didn't seem too happy to find us.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. My story is when we were coming back from Chattanooga, is when we had car trouble, and that car shaking. And I don't know the first thing about cars, right? I do not know the first thing. I'm are we going to make it? I don't know. It's shaking. It's going wild. Don't know what's happening. And she's pull this car over. And we'd just been to a job fair. So she was dressed up, dressed real nice. And I pull over, and no, you jumped out, and you were right under that car, under the hood, checking it. It looks fine down here.
Just trying to troubleshoot.
Exactly.
Did not want to be stranded on the side of the road.
And I was thankful to have you.
Yeah. We made it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what matters. And as soon
as we got back, it quit.
Yep, we passed that Welcome to Warren County sign, and everything stopped, and we were fine.
Yeah.
The car just missed home. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
We go everywhere trying to find the best applicants. Like we talked about a minute ago, like Lori said, Bowling Green's rapidly growing. Our police department's rapidly expanding. We have wonderful people here in Bowling Green. You know, and if there's somebody in Lexington that's a good candidate that wants to make a difference, we want them in Bowling Green. Same thing in Cincinnati, same thing in Chattanooga. It doesn't matter. If they're a good candidate and they're going to help improve our department, they're going to improve our community, we want them here.
If you're interested in being a police officer, you can log on to our website, our recruitment website at joinbgky.org/police. That will take you to our application, so you'll need to complete the application along with the supporting documents. Once that's submitted, the next step for the applicant is to sign up or attend one of the POPs and suit testing dates, because the application will not go anywhere until that's completed. So depending on the applicant and when they can attend those testing dates, it's up to the applicant, I guess, on how quickly they move through the process when it comes to once you get those testing dates done, starts the process of getting that sent over to the police department. Because until those dates are completed, then it doesn't go to the police department until that's accomplished. So at the police department, we hire year-round recruiting. We hire year-round for police officer and dispatch positions. If someone is hired as a police officer, if the academy is more than a month away, then we hire that person in as what we call a police cadet 2. And they work full-time with benefits with the police department, starting to learn the culture of the department. They work a lot on their physical fitness and different policies and stuff that they can kind of get a head start on learning the culture of the department. And we have a few of those police cadet 2s with us, and I'll let Sergeant Hogue introduce them.
Yeah, we actually have 3 of them with us for the next academy class, which is coming up in October. First one is Keeley Bowling, and then we have Cole Charlton, and we have Bella Von Steinfort. So we'll start with Keeley. Keeley, you chose to apply here. Your goal is to become a police officer. Could you just tell us a little bit about what led you to Bowling Green and what made you choose our department, and a little bit about the hiring process?
So I've always kind of wanted to be a police officer, and just looking and asking around many different references, people who are professionals that had careers in law enforcement, they kind of just guided me towards Bowling Green. All of that influence and all of that accreditation and positive vibes coming my way, I thought that Bowling Green would be my best option, and I see a long future here and long career, so figured it would be a great place to start out.
And where are you from again, Keeley?
I'm from Danville, Kentucky. It's about 2.5 hours from here.
Yep, and a graduate of Campbellsville University.
Yes.
And I think we went to some job fairs at Campbellsville and talked to you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then we brought you down here, and you don't sound so confident. We stood there and talked to you, girl. And then you came down and you did some ride-alongs, and you did a tour of the PD, and we stayed in contact with you, right?
Yes, sir.
How about you, Cole?
So I'm from Allen County, so I'm pretty near Bowling Green. I'm only about 35 minutes from here. I worked in the city for a little while as a park ranger, as well as after-school staff for the F.O. Moxley Center that we have here in town. So over the course of that time, I was just kind of going to school and also working as a park ranger, and it showed me a lot about the city that I hadn't really ever experienced yet, because I was just coming here on the weekends and stuff as a kid. But it really gave me an idea of wanting to serve the community that I am planning to move to here soon. I was a military police in the Army for going on 5.5 years now. And so I wanted to be able to service my community instead of just the state or the nation. So it also pushed me to become a police officer in our local city as well.
What stands out about the Bowling Green Police Department to you?
I believe it's reputation. I've never had a bad encounter with the police, obviously, but I've never had any complaints told to me by anybody around the city from any other department, or even just the local people that I've talked to. A lot of them have had a lot of good things to say about the department, and I think that I could agree with a lot of that.
Good deal. Thank you. How about you, Bella?
My name is Bella Von Steinfort. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington. So pretty big city, moving to a growing but smaller city. I've been here for quite some time now, and I cannot imagine living anywhere else. The city of Bowling Green has really captured my heart over the past couple of years. I've been part of many different communities within Bowling Green, from going to school here, middle and high school here, as well as being part of our running community here in town. There's a lot of really great people in Bowling Green, and that is what led me to want to be a police officer here in this city particularly. There's a lot of really great people and opportunities, and this is probably the way that I can serve this community that's done me so well in the best way that I can. So I really I felt a calling to serve the people of this city, and I'm honored that I'm able to do it.
So what stands out about the Bowling Green Police Department? You are now our senior cadet 2. So you've been on for a little bit.
Yeah, I've been on for almost 2 months now. I appreciate the reputation and honesty of our department. We are honest with the people of our city. We don't hide things from people. I mean, we tell the truth about our recruiting process. It's not for everyone, but everyone can do it.
Can you tell us about the process, like what you thought about the process and the physical fitness part, the testing, all the stuff you went through? Can you kind of walk through someone that's interested in being a police officer, what that looks like from somebody that just completed it?
Yeah. As someone who recently went through the process of applying and being offered a position with the Bowling Green Police Department, the application process can seem daunting at first when you're looking at the list of stuff that you have to do. But it's really not bad. It goes by super fast. I feel like I just blinked. And the fitness portion for me came a little easier than for some people. I've been an athlete for many, many years now. But that being said, I've always been a runner, and so I've never been the strongest person on the street. And so I had to work pretty hard to be able to get the weights up and do the bench press and the push-ups. But with hard work comes some pretty great results. And so if you put in the time, you don't even have to take that much time out of your day to go for a little workout or go for a little run or a walk to prepare yourself to be physically fit enough to do the POPs test with success. It is not unmanageable. It is pretty easy to be able to get yourself into the shape to pass the standard to become a police officer.
Absolutely. Anything worth having is going to require effort. So if your goal is to serve the community as a police officer, if your goal is to be a positive influence on other people's lives as a police officer, if your goal is when the stuff hits the fan and things are going bad and you want to be one of the first people there making a difference to help people, you got to put in the work to prepare for that. And I think our city does a good job of giving people opportunities to do that, to get there. But somebody has to be driven to do that.
And it's very rewarding to be able to see all the work that you've been putting in finally paying off. It's putting bricks and bricks into the wall that is yourself, making yourself the best person you can be for the city.
Exactly. It's something to look back and see how far you've come, and then reflecting on all the work you've done and all the additional help that other people have given you to help get you where you want to go. And I think that's something that Bowling Green is very, very good at doing.
Yeah, this department particularly is really great about making people better people.
Absolutely. It takes everybody to lift each other up. That's all part of a team. Being there for each other and helping one another, not just when you need it, but when times are good also, to help improve yourself and strengthen who you are. Now, the Cadet 2 program, Lori mentioned the year-round recruiting. What's the average, how long would it take if somebody came out, turned all their stuff in, went through the process to get through the process and become a Cadet 2?
I would say 3 to 4 months.
So it's pretty fast.
Yeah.
A lot of police departments, the people in recruiting, we talk to other agencies, we talk to other people, they say that sometimes it takes a year or more to get through a process. If people are quick with turning in their paperwork, if they're diligent in responding, they can get through our process pretty darn quick and be employed a lot quicker than other places.
And one other very big thing that we did not mention was that we have our own academy here.
Yeah, we're used to it. We're spoiled.
So yeah, we're getting so used to having that. So a lot of agencies don't have that, and you have to you have to go somewhere else for training for 23 weeks as it is now, 23.
Yep.
We have our own academy here in Bowling Green, so you get to go home every night. You don't have to be away from your family and friends. So that's a very important aspect of our recruiting cycle as well too, is that we don't have to wait for openings in our at Richmond, where a lot of our agencies here in the state utilize their facilities. So we have that opportunity for employees to do that in-house in the city they're living in. While doing that, participate in a lot of community events and things like that. So I feel like that is something that is very beneficial for our department and our city.
Absolutely. And going back to our academy, it's the same curriculum as Richmond. It's the same standard that the state puts out, but it's Bowling Green flavored. You're going to go out. We have a program within our academy where you go out and you learn our patrol districts, and you're required to make contact with so many people in the community. So you get to know business owners, you get to know people that live in neighborhoods, and then you have to put that together for a presentation and present that back to your classmates. So you really, our recruits, they hit the ground running as far as starting their career and being the type of police officer that we expect them to be. They already know people in the community. They already know our way of doing things. They already know our standard. What are we missing?
I would say something like, and not just police, dispatch is also something really important.
That's
for
what we
us.
missed, dispatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hire year-round for dispatcher or 911 call taker, communication dispatcher positions. They do not require the physical aspect of a police officer. An applicant that is wanting to be a first responder or wants to help their community, this would be a way to serve and not have to be in person, behind the wheel of a car, going to a residence or a business or something like that. But this is somebody that is getting that initial phone call when someone needs help. Most important people you'll never see.
Yep, that's great.
If you're interested in being a dispatcher, the process is a little similar. You still go to our website at joinbgky.org. You apply for the 911 call taker, communication dispatcher. There is a suitability screening that's associated with that, so it works similar in that you submit your application, the supporting documentations, and then you sign up for or attend one of the suitability screenings. And then at that point, when that's complete, then your application would be sent over to the department in order for it to be the initial review. And then if it passes that initial review, then you will be scheduled for fingerprinting and a polygraph exam, and also assigned a background investigator. That background is complete. If the department is still wishing to move forward, then you'll be scheduled for an oral interview.
Yeah, and dispatch, I think people don't have a full understanding of what it is. Some people have the perception that it's I'm going to talk on radio, tell an officer where to go, tell a firefighter where to go, and I'm just going to answer the phone. Absolutely not. They are real deal. They are first responders. They are managing people in crisis and emergencies. When somebody calls in and they're in crisis, they're having the worst moment of their life. They might be terrified. They might be having a significant health issue or not know what's happening or just having a breakdown. That dispatcher is the first person that's going to try to de-escalate them. And they're not just trying to de-escalate that person and help them. They're trying to get fact-finding information, investigative information to send to that police officer or that paramedic so they know what they're going into, so they can be prepared. That might include asking them questions, listening to what's happening in the background, checking records of that property and that phone number and that person. That's another thing, missing persons. If somebody goes missing, or especially if it's a child, oftentimes we're not waiting for a police officer to arrive on scene to start that process. The dispatcher, they're already starting to locate that person. They're trying to ping cell phones. They're looking up history of that person, prior contact with that person, things of that nature to direct us. And then on top of that even, they're helping us be safe when we go into scenes. If they're giving us a call at a particular residence, they're looking at prior history of that residence. Has there been guns there before? Have there been violence towards police officers there before? Are there diseases associated with that residence? To let our first responders know so they can stay safe. or if we're getting information that there might be the address might be one thing, but the suspect, they may have left and they're armed and they're in the area. They might be using mapping to figure out the most likely direction of travel for that person and using it to direct the police officer there to keep us safe. They are our lifeline, not just for first responders, for the police, fire, EMS, but also for our community, because they do so much more than what people realize. They're managing a bunch of different screens, they're managing calls, they're de-escalating, managing police officers, they're handling the weather, they're monitoring security in our building. Just amazing work. It takes a special person to be a dispatcher here.
I think some of those key talents for a dispatcher is multitasking, being able to stay calm in an emergency situation or an escalated, and keeping someone to de-escalate. I think a good de-escalator. Yeah. It's interesting, as I have delved into the dispatch profession, a lot of people don't know they have these qualities. A lot of people have told me that the reason they applied was that someone came to them and said, hey, I think you'd be good at this. So if you're hearing us today, it may be that you don't think that you're the one for dispatch, but you may know someone that has those qualities. So if you know of someone that might be a good fit for that, someone that can work really well under pressure, because a lot of times people don't realize they can work well under pressure. Somebody has to see that in them. So if they work well under pressure, they have a sense of community, a sense of responsibility in helping others, and being able to multitask, and to be able to do different things at once. So I think that's some of the key qualities that we see in our dispatchers that we have.
They're absolute game changers. I can't say enough good about them, what they do and how important their position is. During the tornado, we all have tornado experiences. As a police officer, it's obviously very difficult to go through, but obviously we answer the call. When people need us, we go. Same thing with them. We, in the initial response to the tornado, we lost communication with our dispatch center. So it was basically one officer, it was Captain John Vickus, took control, and he became the default dispatcher while we were out responding to tornado incidents. What do you think our dispatchers were doing during that time? They were crawling under terminals, unplugging things, plugging things back in, troubleshooting, doing everything they could to get those radios back up. And this is while phone calls were still coming in. They were still answering 911 calls from the tornado and then giving it to Captain Vickus, who put it out to our officers. And then as soon as they got the radios back up, by God, they were right back in it, back in command. And I believe every dispatcher we had risked their own safety to be down in our dispatch center to get back on that radio to make sure the citizens of this community is safe. Can't say enough good about them. They're absolute heroes to me. If this information has motivated you, if it's made you interested in learning more about becoming a Bowling Green police officer or dispatcher, answering questions, and that's what we're here for. Lori and I both, we don't want people to come into our application system or into the police department with questions. We want everything answered. The more information, the better, and we're happy to answer them. By all means, reach out to us, ask any questions. If you want to do an observation or a ride-along, which are part of the hiring process, but you want to do it before, we can get you set up on that. We can give you tours of our facilities. We can do all kinds of things to make sure you have all the information you need before making a decision. But we encourage anybody that has a heart of passion, that wants to make a positive impact on others and want to be there when people are needed and want to serve this great community, to reach out to us. Go to joinbgky.org/police and fill out that application. Or again, reach out to us for more information. Follow us on social media, reach out to us on social media. We're happy to answer questions there. Like Cadet Von Steinfort said, honesty is what it's about. We're there. We're not keeping secrets. If you have questions or if you have a concern, we want to hear about it and we want to do what we can to answer it. So that's going to wrap up today's show. I'd like to thank our three Cadet 2s, Cadet Von Steinfort, Cadet Charlton, and Cadet Bowling for joining us today. Also a major thanks to Lori for joining us and having an opportunity to sit down and talk about this. A lot of good things are happening in Bowling Green, and we hope that you're a part of it. This has been Talk BGKY, the official podcast of the City of Bowling Green, and we appreciate you tuning in.